This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Duane and Tracy Streeter talk about data collected from water conservation efforts across the state.
Duane Taves joining you once again with Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Casey Streeter with the Kansas Water Office. And Tracy, obviously we've seen and discussed for a couple of years now the governor's water vision for the state of Kansas, and starting to get to the depth of some of the issues. But some recent data suggests that we're making some positive progress with some of the things that we're implementing.
Yes, that's true, Duane. We certainly have a number of good examples of some conservation efforts out there over the Ogallala that are showing some real positive results here over the last 4 or 5 years, particularly the Sheridan County Local Enhanced Management Area. They've been in existence. This is their 5th growing season, and even in 2015 we saw aquifer levels actually rise a little bit. And a few weeks ago the governor and the Geological Survey were on a tour of western Kansas, including Sheridan County and Garden City, and some of the numbers the Geological Survey are showing us is that the reductions that would be required to stabilize and even sustain the aquifer for a good long period of time look achievable. For example, in the Sheridan County, they have a 20% Lima right now reduction. Was their goal. They've exceeded that. They're up closer to the 30% mark, and with a little bit more reduction, they can level off in that area. Overall, in GMD4, the Geological Survey is looking at about a 23% reduction overall over the entire GMD. Should level off the aquifers according to the data that they're looking at. And there are other areas. You go down to southwest Kansas, there's a group working on a local enhanced management area proposal north of Garden City, and the reductions that they need to make aren't all that drastic to get to what they would predict would be level aquifer levels or sustainability. Now, the Geological Survey is hesitant to say that that's doable into perpetuity. Sure. Because we don't know what the future is going to hold with climate and other things like that, but they certainly have some confidence that with the types of reductions they predict, we'll have level aquifer levels for a good period of time.
Obviously, when some of these discussions started, it was fear and scare almost, if you will, that Western Kansas would run out of water. One, and two, it would decimate agriculture and industry in that end of the state, which would be critical to the state budget and the good of the state if that were to happen. These types of things showing that, hey, we can make some changes and some differences certainly have to be enlightening.
They are. It's very encouraging, and we've had water technology farms out there as well this year where we're trying the latest innovation in irrigation, water management, and technology coupled with the conservation. And what we're seeing is we're not seeing a real change in bottom line and productivity with some reductions in pumping. The technology is really helping us have the confidence and the ability to turn those sprinklers off when the soil profile has moisture. And we have more information at our fingertips now, or our cell phones, or wherever you're getting the data. It's readily available. Communication between a soil probe and an iPhone will sit there and tell you whether you need to turn the sprinkler on or off. And so the conservation efforts that are going on, and we're seeing more and more interest in individuals and entities doing conservation, is growing, and the technology is giving them some confidence that they can do it successfully.
Well, certainly we think about how the aquifer got to where it was, where we started to hit that critical point. It didn't happen overnight. As we look to rebuild that, it won't happen overnight either.
No, it won't. It takes time, and it's really kind of a cultural change to start thinking about the aquifer in terms of having it be the norm to think about what can we do to extend the life. Those are water rights, they're personal property, and we're certainly respectful of that. But as communities start to come together and groups of farmers come together, they're looking at the future and want to make sure there's another generation of irrigators and their family that have that ability and that opportunity. And so the mindset's changing out there, I believe. And every meeting I go out to in western Kansas, I'm exposed to a new irrigator or a new group that's interested in what do we need to do to have a water conservation area, or what can we do to be a technology farm, because the momentum is certainly moving towards a kind of a mindset of conservation.
Well, our thanks to Tracy Streeter, Kansas Water Office, joining us on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.